1. Welcome everyone to IsisParenting Sleep Support Webinar and Chat. My name is Nancy Holtzman. I'm a mother-baby nurse educator, board-certified lactation consultant, and board-certified in pediatrics. I'm the Vice President of Clinical Content and Online Learning here at IsisParenting in Boston, Massachusetts. With me today, as she is most Tuesdays at 12 noon, is my friend and colleague Meg Casano. Today we're going to be talking about a toddler topic. Meg, would you like to get started?
Sure. Thanks for joining in, everyone. This is Meg. I co-lead the ISIS sleep team with my partner, Erin Evans, and I'm one of the senior sleep consultants. And I love doing these webinars every week. Today, we are talking about a toddler topic. And we're going to talk about a check-in style approach if you're having some bedtime battles, or sort of your toddler's trying to prolong things at bedtime. One thing, Nancy usually mentions to type your questions in the Q&A box you kind of see in the middle of the screen. So then we will save time and go through some of the questions at the end. So here we go. I love this picture with the 3 sippy cups. So does this look familiar? One more drink? No, I didn't want that. I wanted the blue one. I wanted the pink one. So if things are getting a little out of control at bedtime or even nap time, this is a really effective but very supportive way to get everybody back on track. Sometimes with toddlers, it becomes a little more difficult for parents as their children become more verbal and they're worried about if their toddlers are having any anxieties or new changes in their life, like preschool or a new baby, potty training. And so sometimes it's nice to know of a really supportive way that you can still handle your toddler, still have good sleep. Okay, so if you've listened to my webinars before, or if you haven't listened to my webinars before, you know that before you start any type of intervention or sleep work with your child, baby or toddler, it's really only fair to make sure that everything from a biological standpoint is set up the way it should be. And particularly for a toddler, you have to make sure your nap is at the right time. If your nap is too late in the day, especially this time of year when there's very little light in the afternoon, that exposure to natural light is extremely important to keeping the circadian rhythm synchronized. So you need to make sure that your toddler's nap is kind of central to the day. They have enough time in the afternoon to be exposed to natural light, or at least have your house lights on nice and bright, time to play, blow off a little steam, time to rebuild that sleep pressure. In other words, your child is sleepy enough when you're going to ask him or her to go to bed, so that your expectation is really fair and you're feeling really confident. He really doesn't need one more story or one more kiss. He really should be going to bed now. So take a look at the timing for sleep and nap patterns for toddlers if you have any questions on this. You are making sure your toddler's environment is perfect. So rooms are always cool, dark, and quiet, and a lot more information on this in the environment webinar. I love that we have these links now. It's so great. And then your bedtime routine as well. We've got a nice webinar on the bedtime routine. This is another thing that, again, if you're going to be asking your child to make a change, you've got to be really consistent in your message because remember, like I always say, if your child thinks he can get an inch, he will try for a mile. That is developmentally appropriate. That's what your toddler should be doing at this stage. And so you want to be very regular, very predictable, so that your toddler isn't thinking, what else should I be trying for? One more this, one more that. So your bedtime routine has an ending point, and then you're asking your child to fall asleep. Okay, so these are some 3 webinars that I would say if you haven't already, if you forgot, before you get started with your actual sleep work, go back and take a quick look at these. Okay, and then if you are still having problems with your child falling asleep, maybe they want you to lie down with them, maybe they want you to sit with them, maybe they're just hopping up and down out of bed or getting one more book or one more this and that. We love when you guys send us pictures. We will often try to incorporate them into our webinars. And, you know, as Nancy says, how could you resist this little face? But let's face it, mommies need a break, and babies, more importantly, need their sleep. So there is an important reason why you're going to start this. Okay, so if you're still having problems, you're going to start your scheduled check-ins. And this is the way it goes. Now, let me just start age group for this. I said was between age 2 and age 4. So 2 would be about the earliest you could start this, but of course it always depends a little bit on your child. Some kids wouldn't be ready for this until 2 1/4 or even 2 1/2. You know your child best, and as I'm going through this, you're kind of thinking how they might respond. 2 would be about the earliest that I would expect this to be really effective. Okay, so what you're going to do after your bedtime routine, you're going to offer your child a check-in, and you're going to give a verbal description of where you'll be. For example, you check your child into their bed or into their crib. Either place is fine if your child is still in the crib or if your child is in a bed. Again, either one is fine. You all know from talking, listening to me before, if you have, it's going to go much better for you if you keep your child in a crib, if you can, until at least age 2 1/2, if not closer to 3. If your child is in a bed and you're under 2, you may be facing some different issues in terms of getting out of bed. So, but still, this method will be effective if your child is in a crib or a bed. So, back to your verbal description of where you'll be. So, for example, this might be something like, okay, it's time for sleep, and mommy's going to check on you. I'm just going to go throw in a tissue, and I'll be right back. Okay, so you literally say something like that. And then you will actually leave the room, but you're going to make it really fast, like literally 5 seconds. Like you walk to the trash can, you toss away your tissue, and you go back. You go right back. You are trying to schedule a check-in that is so brief in the beginning that your child doesn't have time to even realize, wait a second, she's gone, what should I do? Should I get up? Should I run after her? Should I cry? It's very quick, okay? This is, you're starting very small. Now, 2, what I've often said, and what if you go back and look at the pre-sleep routine webinar, when I say when your bedtime routine ends, you turn into night mommy or night daddy. There's no more talking, no more playing, no more singing, no more this and that. You're always gentle and loving. So this is the only exception to that. You will be talking, okay? But with this, you are also not going to be engaging with your child, what garbage can are you throwing your tissue away in? Or, were there boogies in your tissue? Or, the crazy things that you're going to get. You're not going to engage in that. You are just offering your check-in, and you're going to go, you're going to do. I say always be honest, and I see Nancy saying you're not going to fib. You're not going to say, try to actually do something, or say something that you actually will do. I'll give you some other ideas. Okay, so you're very brief. You come back. Now, when you come back, you want to offer some praise. And what I really like that I have found with the thousands of families that I've worked with is to keep it simple and to say something like, just checking, mommy's just checking, and you just put a gentle hand on your child, on their cheek, on their back, on their chest. So your child is learning what that phrase, just checking, means. Right? It means that mommy is in the house, mommy's doing things, but mommy's always keeping an eye. Mommy's actually even coming in and out of my room, and she's checking on me. So you're kind of teaching your child what that means. So eventually, you're going to be trading this this phrase, mommy will be checking, and that will actually be soothing to your child. Okay? So you're going to continue through this process. Now, after you go in and you say, great job, you waited so quietly, I'm just checking, and you lay a gentle hand, and then you practice another check-in. So you say, Mommy's just gonna go now, and I'll be right back. And then you go, and this time maybe you leave the room for 20 seconds, and you come right back, and you say, you did a great job, you waited so quietly, I'm just checking. Okay, and so you can see how this is going to go. Do it again, do it again. Maybe you say something like, I'm going to go put on my pajamas, and then I'm going to come back. Or I'm going to go do some laundry, or I'm going to take my shower, or you are, what you're doing, and that you're always coming back and doing these check-ins. And you're starting to lessen and lessen your verbal interaction over the course of several days. And you're trying to trade it down. If you remember trading down sleep associations from last week, you're trying to trade it down. So just that cue of mommy's just checking is becoming very reassuring to your child. Okay, and with this, it is important that you increase the time of your delays. 5 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. You can go slow. Really, I wouldn't expect this to take more than 5 nights a week at the most if this is going to be the right fit for your child. And so you're trying to delay your check-ins up to the point where your child is able to fall asleep without you having to go in at all. And, the timing should be, if it's taking your child much more than 15 minutes to fall asleep every night, it might be something off with your timing a little bit. I mean, some nights they might fall asleep in 5 minutes, and some night it might be 20 minutes, and, a little fluctuation is normal. But if every night it's taking your child 15 to 20 minutes to fall asleep, you may actually have to make a bedtime that's about 15 minutes later to increase the sleep pressure and meet your child more at their achievable bedtime to maximize your success with this. Again, these are, there are always little tweaks that I would make individually for a family, for example, in a personalized sleep consult. But this is one really great way to start with your child. Of course, scheduled check-ins can always evolve into different types of responses, less of a response, more of a response, depending on the fit you felt like it was with your child. But I do really love this approach. And then the icing on the cake with toddlers is always going to be random rewards for progress. And this would happen the next day. And maybe you heard me mention this before. It's not a bribe. Your child doesn't know it's coming. You're not saying, you better stay in your bed or we're not going to go to the playground tomorrow. It's not like that. The next morning, reward and be generous. Maybe your child was sort of verbal through this process and calling for you or yelling, but they stayed in their bed. And that was awesome. So reward the staying in their bed. Okay, always reward the behavior you want to see and ignore the behavior that you don't want to see. And the most effective types of rewards for toddlers are something that they can do interacting with you or another caregiver they really love. So less so with stickers or candy or prizes. That's going to be a little less effective. Maybe here or there, it's okay. But a better strategy is going to be something like, you can pick a playground that we go to today, or let's have an instrument jam session the playroom for 5 minutes, or mommy will snuggle on the couch with you and we can watch a little kid show. Something that might be a little different than what you normally do, but your child would find it really cool. And I've had parents who say, honestly, I can't think of anything. And so think about even things you do in your normal routine. One family needed rewards in the morning, but they were getting ready for work. So I said to Dad, maybe your son can squeeze out your shaving cream, or to Mom, maybe your daughter can put your earrings in your ears, or pick out your earrings, or pick out your jewelry, or, help brush your hair. Honestly, those kinds of things will be kind of cool for your child if it's not something that you're already doing every day. So icing on the cake is always rewarding the positives that you're seeing and letting the negatives go. And then again, over about 5 to 7 days with predictability in your schedule and your sleep environment and your bedtime routine and in your response and increasing your delays and using random rewards, I would expect you to start seeing some really serious progress. Okay. I hope you found that helpful.